Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Birdland. You're in Hawk County at the University of Maryland Eastern Shore. You're watching Jammin with Jenks. I'm your host, Cedric Jenkins. We have with us today special guest, Mrs. Neema Connor, who is the Director of Compliance here at the University of Maryland Eastern Shore. How are you doing, Ms. Connor?
I am great, thank you. And thank you for having me
Thank,
join you today.
thank you for joining us. We really appreciate this. We can start this interview process off in many different directions, but what I wanted to do, let's start off first by talking about your career as a student athlete. Know that you ran track and field. Uh, let's talk about when did you know or when did you realize that you wanted to run collegiately?
Well, as an international student athlete, and if you didn't know, I'm from Guyana. As an international student athlete, I figured out very early in order to leave Guyana, I had to be doing something athletic. So I did a little of soccer, not for a long time. I did dancing, that was not going to work.
Okay.
And then my father actually was a really good track runner in Guyana. So I watched people run growing
Okay.
up all of my life. My brother was pretty good as well. So the next best thing to do was to run in my high school,
Okay.
just for high school sports. I was pretty successful with it. So I figured that this is something that I can stick and stay with. I like the opportunity of staying after school to be around some friends and just be able to hang out, because that's the only way I was going to be able to stay out after
Okay.
a certain time. So we kind of made it into, it kind of was like a social kind of decision. And then as I went along, my father realized that I was doing pretty well in it, and he started investing in me.
Okay.
We had a couple of meets in the Caribbean, and I went to the one in Trinidad, and that's
Okay.
where the coach from University of Pittsburgh saw me,
Hmm.
and he officially he recruited me. Um, Unfortunately, I didn't have much guidance, so in school, we didn't know anything about the clearinghouse. I knew that I needed to take the SATs, so that
Okay.
was the most important thing, and then just do good overall academically. So we kind of did good academically, did the SATs, and at the last minute, I found out that I was a non-qualifier. The lucky thing for me was, in addition to the coach from Pittsburgh recruiting me, the coach from Essex County was also recruiting me. So the
Okay.
Pittsburgh coach immediately contacted Essex County and told him that I was not going to be able to come to Pittsburgh, and as a result, the XX coach took me. So I think that all leads up to why I chose athletics. It's kind of like it chose me.
Okay.
It was for social first, and then it branched out into being something that I figured that, oh, I could leave Guyana and pursue this, in America.
Okay. And once you got to Essex County, obviously the University of Pittsburgh coach stayed in contact with you because you ended up in Pittsburgh. Talk about that a little bit and how you ended up transferring from Essex to Pittsburgh.
Yes, actually, that was quite interesting. At a junior college, the good thing at a junior college, and I would say any student athlete that has to go to a junior college because of the possible grades or not meeting the eligibility center, so don't be discouraged. You do actually have a chance to start over, because at the junior colleges, you have coaches that are specifically looking for that person to make up their team. They might be looking at, I ran the 400, I ran the 200 400.
Okay.
They might be looking for just one more person to make up a relay team. Or in the case of basketball, like you coach, you might be looking for that one point guard or that one center. So, they might look at that aspect. But at the junior college, I had an opportunity to go to other schools and visit other schools. But I felt like Pittsburgh was the most committed to me. And as a result, when I got the opportunity to decide where I wanted to go to school, I felt it being the right decision to go to the University of Pittsburgh. Now, mind you, I did go on a visit. I went to Ohio State. I went
Okay.
to LSU. I went to Long Island University in New York. And I never, the good thing about Pittsburgh was I never lost contact with the coach. He still, although it, not officially staying in contact with me, we still had players from Guyana that was at Pittsburgh. So I still kind of was connected to the team.
Okay.
So going there was not a hard transition at all for me. And I'm glad I made that decision, because of me going to Pittsburgh, I'm here now. I think I mentioned to you a little bit about my story. The academic advisor at Pittsburgh, she came to be the academic advisor at University of Maryland Eastern
Oh,
Shore.
wow.
So
Okay.
my senior year, when I was helping out with volunteering and helping out in the department, when she left, she told me that, if you ever think of going to grad school, I have something for you. So she gave me the opportunity to come in the summer and go to grad school here at University of Maryland Eastern Shore. So I'm thankful that I made that gut decision to go where I knew that it just felt right. It just felt like the right thing to do.
That's very important. You know, you have to make sure that the atmosphere is a family atmosphere and everything, so that you're comfortable, because this is where you're going to spend the next 4 years or 2 years of your life. That's a great story. Thank you for sharing that with us. Did you ever think about competing professionally after you finished running?
No, absolutely not. One of the things that I was very, very conscious of was that me running track was just helping me get through college. I was not the star athlete by no means. And if I could clearly remember, after my last track meet, my mom came up for my last track meet. After my last track meet, I sent one of my spikes home with her. So I only had one of a pair. I had one side and she had one side. So that was my decision, saying, I'm done. There's no more, there's nothing moving forward. It's over. My time is up. I enjoyed it, and moving to the next step, moving to the next chapter.
So it's safe to say that you don't miss competing then.
No, you know what? I miss competing. I don't miss practicing.
Okay.
I miss competing. I definitely miss competing, but the practices, no. I don't miss the practices, but competing every now and again, especially when someone is running a race, that the 800 or the 400, to be honest, I get a little teared up, and I'm a big supporter of athletics, any sport. So when I see people competing on the track, it is I still feel some sort of passionate about it, but I know that I've already closed that chapter. I'm moving on.
Now let's move on to the next phase. As you said, after running collegially, that was over. So you became the graduate assistant of compliance under our current director of athletics, Mr. Keith Davison. Talk about, you accomplished your master's degree. Was that always a goal you wanted to accomplish? Did you decide, after finishing track that, okay, well, maybe I need to move on and further my education?
Yeah, I think that me doing a master's was kind of sort of the academic advisor at Pittsburgh telling me that I have an opportunity to do it, and why not? I mean, it was free. I felt like if I kept going, then it would give me an opportunity to stay in it, because I'm of the assumption that if you stop for education and take a break, you might not want to get back. So having the opportunity to go right after undergrad and doing my master's was definitely something that I couldn't deny. Like I said, this is something that I need to do. I have the opportunity to do it, and I've never paid. My husband pays, he has loans that he has to pay back, but I'm blessed to have the situation where I don't have any school loans to pay. So it was, doing my master's was something that just kind of fell into place.
Okay. And you talked a little bit about how you came to know University of Maryland Eastern Shore by the compliance director, or the person working.
The academic advisor, Tanya.
Came here. So I guess it was an easy decision for you to step into compliance here, because you was familiar with the process and everything.
Yeah, well, I started off in academics, and then the athletic director at that time, Dr. Fuller, she gave me an opportunity to try to move around. She said, if you want to start, you could do academics, you could go into a little bit of sports, learn about the sports information. The only thing I couldn't do was the sports medicine, because you have to be certified, and I don't think anybody wants me treating them. But and she said, compliance, you could just move around, because it's 2 years, and as a grad assistant, you have an opportunity to see whether or not you want to pursue a career in athletics. At that point, I wasn't sure. But when Dr. Fuller left and Mr. Townsend came in with Mr. Davison, it was just, Mr. Davison had a lot of information to share. He was transparent. Once I got to him, I realized that I didn't want to go anywhere else. I wanted to do compliance. I felt like, okay, this is something that, it's a good fit for me. I always wanted to do law. When I did my law classes at Pittsburgh, I failed them. So we knew law wasn't going to be the route either. So I felt like with compliance, I like reading and trying to investigate rules and try to interpret rules. That's me. I like doing that. And again, with Mr. Davison coming in and being transparent and willing to teach me, it made it even easier to stay into compliance.
That's cool. That's really good. Okay.
You're watching Jammin with Jenks at the University of Maryland Eastern Shore.
Now you're the director of compliance, moving on from graduate assistant to director. How challenging is it to be in charge of so many different programs here at Maryland Eastern Shore? One of the things I enjoy that you always say, Neema, is that this is a small shop, mom and pop shop. How important is it, or how challenging is it for you?
It's very challenging. It's very challenging, and also I know it's the director of compliance, but I also got a promotion 2 years ago, so it's now the associate athletic director for compliance and senior women's administrator. That's my entire title.
Okay.
But one of the things is that the coaches, if you build a relationship with the coaches to let them know that, look, ask me, please, we're trying, violations are going to happen, and I know that we all make mistakes, and I know that we all, there are things that we do without realizing that we're doing it. So that's going to happen. But one of the things I try to do is make myself available to the coaches. And then I'm very honest and upfront. If I don't know, I say, Coach, I don't know. Let me call the NCAA. Let me call a colleague. Let me call the conference office to find out the answer, so that when I'm letting the coach know something, I'm almost 100% sure that the answer that I'm giving them is right. So I think the important thing is having an open line of communication, making sure that the coaches know that you care, making sure that the coaches know that you're in here, here working for them and for the student athletes. And then I think it becomes a situation where the coaches are willing to help you because they know that you're a small shop. So if it's something that, instead of coming and asking me a rule, if it's something that they could look up, because they know that I would stop whatever I'm doing to help them out, I think the coaches are like, okay, well, instead of going to Neema with this question, let me just go ahead and take my time to look up, look for the response instead of asking her. Okay. So I think it's good, again, when you have that open line of communication. I'm blessed to have coaches that, are willing to work with me and understand the situation, knowing that UMES is a small shop.
Okay, that's cool. Now, Neema, we're going to backtrack a little bit here, because you mentioned a little bit about growing up in Guyana. Georgetown, Guyana is where you're from. Talk a little bit about growing up there, because we found out doing our research you're from a large family.
Oh, yes.
So
I am one of 17, and I tell everybody I'm one of 17. And, my brothers and sisters are they're like my lifeline,
Okay.
You know who to call when you're happy. You know who to call when you're sad. You know who to call when you want to gossip. You know who to call, if you're doing something you're not supposed to do. You have all these various personalities. And I am actually number 9. Okay. And my father used to always refer to me as the link. So there are 8 above me and 8 beneath me. For my mom, it's only 6. But for my dad, it's 17. And all 17 of us grew up not far from one another. Okay. So it's a good family atmosphere. Guyana is a third world country, so there were certain things that you came accustomed to, that when I came to America, it was like, wow, you don't have to do that anymore. Okay. I have no tattoos. I never pierced my ears more than one time. And, everybody was asking me like, wow, you don't have any. I was like, no, because that was not, it wasn't in Guyana when I was there. And now at 34, I'm definitely not doing no tattoos or nothing. So, growing up in Guyana gave me the foundation I needed. Gave me the foundation I needed to be who I am today. And I'm extremely grateful for going through that phase. I think a lot of times people get carried away when they're, when it's a privileged situation. They take for granted the little things. Yes, and in that case, I don't, because I know if I mess this up, or if I don't succeed, or if, I'm taking things for granted, then this could have been someone else from Guyana having this opportunity. So I try to make sure that, I'm always conscious of the fact that, there is someone else that could have been in the situation that I'm in. So don't take it for granted. That's that's a philosophy I kind of live by, just to, be thankful for everything that I have, and, my husband would even attest to the fact that me being from Guyana is a little different as well, because I think although he doesn't really admit it a lot, he often says, oh yeah, I couldn't, I'm glad I got a Guyanese wife. So I think it's a good thing. And, as I said, it being from a different country definitely helped me to appreciate what I have now.
Okay, that's cool. Now, you mentioned earlier also about your father and how he invested in you. He realized how good you were as far as track and stuff. Who else, or if there was anyone else who saw what you could do and pushed you to accomplish what you have done athletically and academically growing up?
Yeah, I would definitely say Tanya Tinsley, the one at Pittsburgh, my academic advisor at
Okay.
Pittsburgh. I always talk about, how I'm so happy that, she was in my life, though, when she came into my life to give me this opportunity to be here. So although she would never hear the praises because we're no longer in contact as I wanted us to be, I think she moved back to Pittsburgh. Anytime anyone speaks with me, I always say, Tanya, thank you. Like, you gave me the opportunity. And then there are people in my life now that, came in my life throughout the years, that I'm very, very grateful for. And, one of the things is that, there's so many names that you can't remember. They touch your life, at different aspects. But I know, like Sharon Bromell, Coach Bromell has been like a mother, a friend, and people would hear me call her name over and over again, because she's just been there. She's been the person to help me groom me as an athletic administrator. She's really pushed me to the next level, and she's also encouraged me. And she's the one that has stepped up and told me, Neema, yes, no, right or wrong, this is how you do it. This is you don't do it like this. So I'm really happy for her in my life. And then Marta, like, I am not, if I could not have asked for a better assistant, and I can't express it enough. Like, let anybody know I am good because of the people I had under me. And Martha had, like, I had to have an assistant push you to the next level and make you want to do better. It just speaks volumes of that assistant. So, those three are like the people. Anytime I think about myself and think about my growth, I'm always thankful to those three. And of course, my husband, although he is a comedian, sometimes he could be hard on me. He is my rock. He really is. My husband and my son are like I don't know what I would do without them kind of person. So, that is my support group. In addition to my family, that's my support group. They all know that I love them, and I'm just thankful that they're in my life and they help push me to where I am now.
And I appreciate you again taking time out to share all of this great, wonderful information with us and allowing the community to get to know you. I have one more question for you. If you could share with us now, you just mentioned the many hats that you wear as far as being the Director of Compliance, Senior Women's Administrator. You're a member of various organizations, wife, mother. How do you find balance in your life to manage all of that you have going on?
Ooh. Do I manage it? No. I pray a lot. A lot of times that, I am the type that I think I would work, and forget about sleeping, forget about eating, just work. But when you go home and you have that quiet time, you have that one place that you can go and say, thank you, Lord, one place that you can go and close your eyes and not have to worry about it. That's where I find the most comfort. Working in athletics is challenging, but it's a good challenge. I think no, I don't know what I would do if I wasn't working in athletics. A strict 9 to 5 is not going to cut it for me, because I think I would try to find something from 5 to 9, to continue my day. But it's difficult. I'm not going to lie to you. Work-life balance for anyone in athletics, even the student athletes, coaches, administrators, it's going to be challenging. But you have to know your limits. You have to know, and it's hard for me to do, but you have to know when to say no. I very rarely say no because I'm always trying to help. But you have to understand that, okay, at some point, you got to cling to those that love you to get your strength, and again, I pray a lot, and, I go home, and, it's my son, I could have a bad day, and I just look at my son, and he says something like, Mommy, I love you. Mommy, give me a kiss, and that's the end of the worries. Like, my day, I would forget everything that has happened, because, he is just so innocent, and, just always there, trying to just cheer me up. I think kids kind of figure out, oh, Mommy probably is going through a rough day. I don't know. I'm just saying. But he just knows what to say at the right time. So really trying to be organized, trying to have a structure, and trying to find your peace is what's going to help you balance work life in athletics.
Thank you, Neema.
You're
for sharing
welcome.
that.
You're welcome.
You're absolutely correct. Children are a blessing and everything. And I know by having
Oh,
4.
yeah.
You're number 9, so
I know.
I should never be teased again in athletics.
Thank
you again
you.
for your time and for spending time with us, for
You're
allowing the community to
welcome.
get to know what you do and everything. And thank you for spending another week with us here at the University of Maryland Eastern Shore. I'm your host again, Cedric Jenkins, along with Tyler Smith and Doug Newton. You watch Jammin with Jenks. Join us again next time. We'll have another special guest for you. And remember, a calm sea doesn't make a skilled sailor. Thank you. See you next time.
Thank you.